Hey guys, this is Steliefty with Closeout. Let's talk about the power of belief in sales, and even more important, the power of disbelief in sales. What do you do when you have a sales team that has tried out a specific tactic or strategy, it failed at it, and therefore created a very powerful belief that this will not work for us? This pitch or this tactic will never work for this product or our market or for us. What do you do in those situations? So I was just talking to a CEO today that basically, has a great business. It's growing, it's doing well, but the growth has been stagnating for a while, and all their growth has been fueled by inbound sales. And they know that there's this huge opportunity to do outbound sales and do cold calling, but they've never been able to pull it off. And the team has tried all kinds of things and consistently failed at it. After we talked a little bit about it and we looked at tactics and we looked at their performance, their results, and their strategies, really quickly was clear that, yes, we had some new ideas. Yes, we had some cool ideas on what to try and what to improve on what they were doing. But at the end of the conversation, once we made a list of how to improve and what new things to test and how to actually make this work, we realized that we wouldn't be able to actually make this work with the current sales team. And here's why. The current sales team had lost their faith in outbound sales and cold calling. They didn't believe in that shit. They thought it wasn't possible. So no tactic, no strategy, no new script, no new approach would make them change that, right? Especially if you tried a couple of things before. Once people lose their faith and their belief in this tactic and the viability of it, they will perform in a way that will create the results that they're thinking. Right? The proof approves what the thinker thinks. Like, we make our own realities. And in sales, it's so important to have a vision and an excitement and a belief that will give the salespeople the confidence and the energy to actually perform at the highest level and get the results. If they don't believe it, they will perform accordingly and generate results accordingly. So how do you make a sales team believe if they've lost their belief in it? I personally think that there's no way to sell them on why they should believe you. There's nothing you can tell them. There's no statistic you can show them. What you have to do is you have to perform a miracle, right? That's the most powerful way to actually turn a non-believer salesperson into somebody that truly believes. I'll give you two examples. And here's how you can do it, and I'll give you some examples on it. So with Elastic Sales, when we were running Elastic Sales and we were running an outsourced sales service for different startups, with one specific campaign once, we put 3 guys on it. Those guys started making, and it was a cold calling outbound sales campaign. They started making cold calls and just getting beat up. And just like, cold calling is always hard, no matter how good you are at it. But these guys just were like getting killed out there, right? And it sucked. And just after 2 days of them getting beat up, they started telling the story of this is not working. And they start convincing themselves more and more that this will never work. And then they started coming to their sales manager and telling that sales manager, this shit will never work. We should stop this campaign. And then eventually that sales manager started believing it and came to me and said, Stella, we should really stop this campaign and discontinue this relationship with this client because this shit is not going to work. Here's what we did next. We didn't retrain these people. I didn't give a speech or a talk. What we did is we brought in temps, right? We brought in a bunch of temporary workers that had some relevant experience in sales, and we brought them from a wide range of backgrounds. And we told them to actually perform the exact same thing that our salespeople perform, and we didn't let our salespeople interact with these temps. We didn't let them influence them and actually drag them down or tell them a story of why this is never going to work and why they should not have faith. And we told them in really dry terms, here's the expectation of what you need to do, here's how you need to perform it, here's all the things that you need, now go and please perform at this very level. Almost all of them failed, except one lady. And it was the most unlikely lady. Like, her background was just completely wild. There was no easy way to tell from a resume or even from an initial interview that she would be exceptionally good at this, but she was killing them out there. She was just like performing like nothing we'd seen before. And she did that on day 1, and we're all like, wow, let's see if she can actually consistently generate these results. And she did it on day 2, on day 3, and she kept killing it out there and actually, blowing our minds in terms of the kind of results she created. She overperformed to the kind of magical unicorn benchmarks we set just to see if we could make anybody accomplish these benchmarks. She would outperform them. And you know what? Something funny happened next. Once she actually showed consistently that she could perform this miracle and actually that this kind of cold calling worked in this market and with this business and product, we introduced our 3 sales guys back to her and made her part of their team. And all of them, one by one, started performing at a similar level. To be frank with you, they never performed as good as she was. We learned a bunch of things on what kind of personality type sells really well into that market, but they all performed dramatically better than they did before. All because of the power of belief. I'll give you another example. Here's a customer of ours that I visited a few months ago. These guys are based in Europe and they're selling internationally. They're selling in, I think, 13 different countries. And they have this big sales team. And they used to divide the sales team into different countries. So they'll have a sales team that was like France, and they're little cute flags, right? There was the France team and the UK team and the US team and the Germany team and the Spain team and whatever. There's different teams representing sales in different countries. And what they figured out and what they discovered was that there were a couple of countries that were just not working. Funny enough, their sales approach worked brilliantly everywhere except these 2 or 3 countries like Spain, France, and something else. And they were banging their heads against the wall on how to make this work. And they started believing the story the sales reps were telling themselves and each other and others, which was, I guess this product doesn't resonate in this market. I guess this market just doesn't want to buy this product the same way others do. And you know what happened next? What they did, which is genius, they rearranged the sales team. And they didn't split the sales team up anymore in different countries, but they actually put in different types of performing salespeople together. So what they did is with these 3 countries that were underperforming, they took some of their most amazing sales guys and they set them next to those teams. And now the France team would still continue calling France, and you had this guy that was calling the UK and killing it, just calling the UK and killing it, and they were just all sitting together in a team. It was and the French guys were talking French and he was talking English. It didn't even matter. You know what happened? All of a sudden, one by one, magically, these bad countries started improving their performance. And eventually they caught up with the performance of all the other countries. It wasn't the country. It was that a small group had convinced themselves that this isn't working. And if you believe that, you'll conceive that and you won't be able to get out of it. And the best way to get you out of it is have somebody demonstrate the miracle of sales in front of you and create these results and make you a believer. Nothing beats it. No training, no management, nothing can beat that. So if you have a sales team and that sales team has tried a specific tactic over and over again, it didn't really work, but you still believe strategically that this is the right way to go and that there's a way for you to crack that nut and make it work, at some point you have to ask yourself, can this team actually still believe in this? Can we still give them new ideas, new tactics to perform? Go to the team and see if there's somebody in that team that truly still believes. If so, make that person, go into a room, lock yourself in with that person as the CEO, the founder, or the VP of sales, and perform the new tactic with that person until you guys can create results, and then go and show those results to people, demonstrate the miracle and make them believers. If you don't have anybody internally in the sales team that truly believes, you can't mandate that. You can't just say, you sales manager, you now have to believe and show people. That doesn't work. It needs to be truthful. It needs to be coming from their heart. If they don't believe, don't force it. Don't try to train them or convince them on believing. Go outside and bring new blood inside, right? Do what we did with bringing new temps. Or, in some cases, you might try to find some super killer, amazing sales guru ninja from a different company and have them come in just for a week and work out of your office and have them do their sales calls. Just have them show their magic to others and see if that influences them. But temps is a really good idea. Or students or interns, get a young group of people that are a little ignorant, that don't know any better, put them in a room and actually train them, set expectations really high and say, this is what we expect, this is what we know you can perform at, and we'll do it together with you. And then see if you can actually generate these results. And if you can, let these people go and bring in a fresh group of people and try a new tactic with those guys. But the key important part will be to make them believe that they can achieve. Make them believe that they can actually create these results that you want from them, and then see if you can actually make it happen. And once you do, expose that magic, that miracle to your old sales team, and they, one by one, they will follow in line, start believing, and then start performing at that level. That's how you actually make a strategy that didn't work, let's say an outbound sales campaign, work in the future. It's not just tactics, strategies, and content and concept. In sales, blood, emotion, energy makes all the difference in the world. And when people can't really believe, you cannot train them in it. You have to demonstrate it to them and make them believers. And the best way to do it sometimes is to bring new people in and allow kind of fresh blood and a fresh group of people to do something they're not yet aware of that isn't possible.